brought a cheering section here. He'll fight Harold Brazier, and Micky Ward now starting to make his way into the ring. Even misspelled his name on the back of his jersey there.
They love him.
Sentiment with a lot of fans. So Micky Ward in a must situation, I think it's probably fair to say. What has Micky Ward done recently? Let Al Bernstein tell you.
Say that someone has a crossroads fight at age 24, but that's the case with Micky Ward. This Lowell, Massachusetts resident needs a win to stay in contention. He has the skills. He showed it against Tomas de Cruz. He won this one, but would have some trouble with Frankie Warren. He had his moments in this bout, but Warren was just too much overall. Using his pressure tactics, he gave Micky his third loss. But he would come back strong against Clarence Coleman, showing his combination punching and hand speed and some power. But he'll face tougher competition tonight, and he'll need to get over a major hurdle or see his career slip back badly. An important night for Micky Ward.
Harold Brazier, who has been in this situation countless times. Again, he's a man on a mission. He feels he still wants at least one more title shot. He's going to stay around until he gets that shot, and he says, I'll get it at whatever weight I can, even if I have to go up to welterweight. Harold Brazier is a pro.
34-year-old Harold Brazier is boxing's answer to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Age hasn't dimmed his skills. Remember how he was taking apart Robin Blake until Robin gave him a little surprise.
And is almost closed. And Padilla will be looking at it very...
Oh my!
Brazier with a solid left hand. Wow, what a turnaround.
But undaunted, he came back to get a big win and retain his NABF title. After losing 2 close decisions in world title matches, he tried his hand against Razai Bramble.
Defensor Bramble with a shot, and that hurt Brazier. And Brazier's in serious trouble, and down he goes.
This loss and an injury to his left shoulder could have ended his career, but Harold wouldn't let it. Using weight exercises to strengthen the shoulder, he got back on track with 4 straight wins, one against Lalo Velasquez. And now, with this win, he says he's ready for another shot at the title.
So, Al, what about the keys to victory?
For Harold Brazier, jab, and I mean jab. And he told us today, I've got to get that jab going. Cut the ring off. Ward will give him lots of movement, and that's what Micky Ward wants to do. For Micky, I think the thing is to get in, throw a bunch of combinations, get out, and not stay there and exchange with Harold Brazier. There is no doubt in my mind, ultimately, Brazier's the harder puncher.
There are no secrets in this fight either. These are 2 guys who know what they're doing. They'll be going 12 rounds. Let's meet them officially with Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, Boxing Commissioner Larry Hazard Sr., and the International Boxing Federation, represented at ringside as supervisor by Marian Muhammad. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Merv Griffin's Resorts Casino Hotel here in Atlantic City, let's get ready to rumble. 12 rounds for the IBF Intercontinental Junior Welterweight Championship. The referee for this bout is Rudy Battle. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with gold, white, and green trim, he weighs an even 137 pounds from Lowell, Massachusetts. As a professional, an outstanding record of 21 victories, 14 by KO against only 3 defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenger, Irish Micky Ward. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the red trunks with black letters, he weighs an even 140 pounds from South Bend, Indiana. As a professional, 67 victories, 50 by KO against 10 defeats and 1 draw. Introducing the IBF Intercontinental Junior Welterweight Champion, Harold Brazier.
Okay, gentlemen, you've both received your pre-fight instructions. I want a clean break at all times. Let's have a good, clean contest, and good luck to both of you. Let's shake hands.
Now, Harold Brazier seems to me, Al, to be a guy who would not have a nickname.
Nor would he need one.
Absolutely. He's just Harold Brazier. And here, Micky Ward, aptly named Irish Micky Ward.
This This is about, you know what, as we're sitting here waiting, I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Yeah.
Not that we don't always, but this is about that you want to see.
I've been looking forward to this one for the last week, actually. At the risk of being redundant, these are two pros.
And two guys who, we've said this sometimes before, you hate to see anyone lose in this bout. If everyone at home could sit and chat with these guys as we have a chance to, you'd know that they're really quality people.
Yeah, they really are. Really ambassadors for the sport, too. The knockout ratio, a little higher on Harold Brazier's part. Micky Ward, if he's going to get a knockout, it's going to be cumulative. Good hand by Ward.
And that's important for him, I think, to do something like that early, to make Harold a little cautious in coming in. Harold Brazier, the man of the defense, of course. He's been known to cover up for almost a full round and then unleash punches in combination from a counter-punching posture. And already we can see where Brazier cutting off the ring comes into play. And already we see Micky Ward switching from righty to lefty. He does that often.
Yeah, we talked earlier about the fact that this very likely will be a very tactical fight. And I think we're seeing an example of that even in the first couple of minutes.
Brazier 10 years older than Micky Ward. And yet you hardly think of Harold Brazier as an older fighter. He's in terrific condition, and he is, I said in that piece, he was the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of boxing. That's not far from the truth. There's the jab by Brazier. Ward has done a very nice job here in this first round of sticking and moving.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of boxing, he doesn't have Magic Johnson to get him the ball either.
Yeah, that's right. No such thing as assists in boxing.
He says because of the shoulder injury, he was getting hit too much. Now he says, I'm just about 100%.
There you see Brazier cutting off the ring. Very nice job. Very nice job by Harold Brazier. Again, it's the little things in this bout that will add up to a lot.
Also, we probably should tell the fans out there that this fight has been a long time in the making.
They were supposed to fight in August, and Ward hurt his, fractured his hand, and so it had to be postponed. There's Brazier going down to the body, and if I had more keys, one of them might have been that, going to the body for Brazier. Should be very significant considering the light weight that Ward came in at.
Coming to the end of round number one, and both fighters doing what they feel they must early in this fight, and a tough round to judge.
The real test of a power mower is starting it easily on the first pull. That's why Sears is putting 100 Craftsman Eager One mowers on the line.
Micky Ward with this overhand right that kind of lands to Brazier, and he ties Brazier up. That's what he wants to do.
What about the fact that Micky Ward came in 4 pounds lighter, or at least weighed in 4 pounds lighter? It's not to say he is right now.
Well, yeah, now see, I think that bothered them because he dried out the night before. They thought he was more. And they wanted him to come in at 140. He's been coming in at all his fights way 2 or 3 pounds under 140, and they didn't want that. So psychologically it may have an impact.
Punch profile in the first round. Ward only 5 punches landed. Brazier not much better. Very low percentage for Harold Brazier.
And I would say half those 11 probably were body shots by Harold Brazier.
Should point out another thing too, just to elaborate a little bit more on fighters drying out. They will do that before the fight, so they will come in at their very lowest. Come fight time, they could be 4, 5, or 6 pounds heavier, even at this weight.
They will eat that day. Good right hand by Ward. Now there's the combinations. Not much of that getting through because of Brazier's excellent defense, but it looks good. And that's what Ward's going to have to do. Now, you know, Harold Brazier talked to us today about the fact that in trying to fix that rotator cuff tear in his left shoulder, he did so much in the area of weights that his left hook became better, and he learned how to set down on the left hook better. We haven't seen that punch yet from him. We'll see if it is a lot better.
It's an unusual injury for a fighter, I think, rotator cuff.
I don't think it is normal, more for pitchers.
Yeah.
Get it, and it ends careers with pitchers often.
He did not undergo surgery for that rotator cuff, because he had various diagnoses of it. One being that it was a tear, one being that it wasn't torn, but just inflamed.
Good hook by Ward. Ward is a little more accurate in this round, I think.
Getting some good shots to the body.
And I talked about, good body shot by Brazier. Ward also a good body puncher.
And right hand by Ward.
If I was Micky Ward, I think I'd stay in the right-handed posture. Good right hand straight up the gut by Brazier. Both are good combination punchers. Pretty battle with that warning to Brazier to keep the punches up.
Those are both caught on the gloves, and you talked about Harold Brazier's defense.
Now there's a hook by Brazier. They didn't twist it. There's a good hook to the body by Brazier. It's really, this fight's starting to warm up. And Ward with the right hand downs. I'll tell you, if it keeps by the 5th or 6th round, this could be a classic battle. Good hook downstairs by Brazier.
Yeah, both men very effective with their punching in this round. And again, it remains a tactical fight as Brazier opens up Ward a little bit. Excellent round.
Hey, listen, all right? Hey, when you're throwing those punches, put the pen, right? Move around again. Don't say they let him get no 4 or 5 straight punches there. That's how he wants to beat you. All right? Hook to the head, hook to the body, move around, side, feint them. Right? When you're just standing against the ropes, he's adding up points even if he ain't hurting you. Right, another round.
Terrific corner work by Dick Eklund. Here's Ward working downstairs. That left hook getting in a little bit, but you see the defense of Brazier there.
A little bit of swelling, as you see, under the right eye of Micky Ward. It does not appear to really be anything. It's just one spot. We got the end swell on it in a hurry. Neither man really getting it done off the jab.
Well, and I'll tell you what, if you are a boxer, though, as Micky Ward is trying to be in this bout, you've got to land more than 1 out of 18 jabs. Brazier landing 6 of 68, but we know Brazier's landing more of those body shots and other power punches on the inside.
Well, let's look at those numbers. You told you about the jabs, and now here in the second round, as you can see, Brazier threw 82 punches. Still not a high connect percentage.
But his 27, of course, double what Ward has, so enough to get him the round. And Ward was doing well early in the round. That left hand doesn't get there.
Your card through the first two, both to Brazier.
Yeah, first round a little bit closer, and the second one I had to give to him even more.
Again, not much of that getting through.
They don't want Ward on the ropes, of course. That's what Dick Eklund was emphasizing. And he also wants Ward, when he punches, to move away quickly, which is what I talked about in those keys.
Wait. Stop punching. Stop.
Good body shot by Ward. The crowd is going to react more when Ward connects with a punch because there are so many more Micky Ward supporters here.
And, you know, that becomes a factor in 2 areas. Number one, the fact that Brazier, because of his defensive style, is willing to let guys punch like that. And secondly, because, of course, that crowd is so vocal, they'll make everything seem like it lands. Good solid right by Brazier.
Brazier doing some good body work and got there with the left hand. Kept Ward in the corner for a little bit.
And part of the reason Brazier has not been even more effective here is that he hasn't been able to get his jab in as much as he would like. If that becomes a rangefinder, he's really going to have, Micky Ward's really going to have a problem. See, that jab set up all those punches. About half of those landed, but it was set up by the real nice jab.
Brazier really showing a classic form. Works very well off the jab still, very quick hands, and he can get you out of there.
He, like Micky Ward, gets knockouts mostly by cumulative effect.
That was an overhand right by Ward. It was a little short, but it did get there. Well, so far, it has really been a most interesting matchup, and everything as advertised. End of the first 3 rounds. We'll be back.
Brazier using the jab as a rangefinder, and it sets up this nice combination. The left hook gets in there. Not everything landed, but enough landed to get him some good points in that last round.
Keep him up.
Ward starts out the 4th round on his bicycle a little bit. Dick Eklund wants him to move. Take a look at the punch profile now. Total punches through the first 3 rounds. And you can see that Harold Brazier is doing much more than is Micky Ward.
And just the mere fact that he's throwing so many more punches is going to get him somewhere. Though we've seen that isn't always the case. But
your card continues to show a shutout for Harold Brazier. First 2 rounds were fairly close.
Yeah, third one, I think he really took control a bit. Micky Ward's just going to have to be a little bit busier. The overhand right was a good weapon for Ward a little bit earlier, and he may want to try and go back to that. And I also think he's much more effective against Brazier as a righty.
Right there with a quick left hand. It was a double left hand. The second one got there. Gets through.
The left hand did get there by Micky Ward. Good right hand. Now I think from Harold Brazier's standpoint, he should feint more with the jab. When he feints, he's getting Ward in a position where he can land something. The uppercut on the inside by Brazier. On the inside, Micky Ward, believe it or not, is a better fighter as a southpaw than he is as a righty. So when he's in there, a lot of times he switches to southpaw and he's effective. There's the hook by Brazier, but not great hooks. Not the kind he hoped to be landing here. See, Ward is a lefty. As you see this shot, Harold Brazier getting his left foot outside the right foot of Ward. That's the posture he wants.
And Rudy Battle wants a timeout.
Low blow by Brazier, and he wants to give Ward a chance to get himself together.
And Rudy Battle essentially says one more, and I'll take a point away.
I don't think I've ever seen Harold Brazier have a point taken away for anything in all the years of his boxing that I've done.
It was interesting, too, I think, in talking to these fighters before the fight, and we were talking to each of them about what a good guy the other guy is, and they both agree readily, say, yeah, boy, he sure is a nice guy. Each said that about the other guy, and yet it's a brutal sport. We'll be back. Swell on the eye of Micky Ward. That's that same eye we talked about earlier. It's just a little bit of swelling, and that's purely a precautionary measure.
Good corner work to be doing it as a precautionary measure.
Harold Brazier, who has been on the doorstep and been close, but still has that one goal.
Lost a thrilling match to Roger Mayweather. Very close. I believe split decision, a majority decision for Mayweather, and then lost to Juan Koji in title matches for a world title. Now Micky Ward coming out knowing he needs to maybe make something happen here.
Good right hand by Ward. Brazier starting to force the fight a little bit.
One of the things Brazier, good right by Ward, but here comes Harold Brazier. One of the things Brazier wanted to do is get that jab in. He really hasn't. And yet, even with that, seems to be ahead in the bout, at least in our mind.
Significantly, too, Brazier seems right at the moment to be able to back Ward up.
Good arsenal of punches by Harold Brazier. Throwing uppercuts, straight left hands, and rights. And, you know, this is different posture for Brazier. He likes to counterpunch and usually lures guys into that. But Ward is sticking to his plan to box. That much is for sure. Making it Brazier have to make a different kind of fight, but he's doing it and doing it effectively. And not neglecting the body work is Harold Brazier. Very important for him, and he is doing it. Look at how he blocks that left hand by Ward. Micky Ward staying as a southpaw much of this round. Now, on the inside, that's okay for him, but on the outside, I don't think so. Brazier's too smart to be bothered by the left-handed style, and he's fighting it effectively, getting outside that right foot of Ward and cutting the ring off and really fighting him well. And Ward goes back to righty because of it. Good body work. Harold Brazier is tattooing Ward's body. Could have an impact as this fight goes on.
Well, in fact, you just saw Ward take a step back, take a deep breath through his mouth. And again, that's significant of the fact that either the body work is taking its toll or the man might be getting a little bit tired, and I would prefer the former rather than the latter.
And we remind you this is a 12-round bout, so a long way to go.
Fatigue does not seem to be a factor here.
Both men doing a lot of work.
Into round number 5, and Micky Ward's going to have to...
Low monthly payments. That's right, low monthly payments. And realistic financing. That's what your North Texas Chevy Geo dealers have for you this month. Low monthly payments like $199 for a Cavalier, well equipped with air conditioning, AM/FM stereo, and more. Low monthly payments and realistic.
Well, Harold Brazier both taking the fight to Micky Ward and at the same time taking it away from him.
And jabs an indication of that. Brazier with 39 of 88 jabs. Well, there's the total numbers in through 5 in the jab situation. 15 for Brazier out of 135, and 3 out of 56 for Micky Ward. I was going to tell you the round 3 numbers is actually what I was handed. Brazier with a 44% land percentage in that last round.
Pete Susie's telling Brazier, show him the jab, give him something else to look at. Good left hand by Brazier.
He is setting down. Harold Brazier wants this fight right now. And I'll tell you what, I sense today Harold Brazier wanted a knockout in this fight because he wants to get back at that world title, and he thinks he needs something dramatic to do so. He's won 4 straight bouts since losing to Bramble. And, you know, fighters, you know, so often people are looking for excuses, fighters or managers or whatever. When Harold Brazier says that he lost to Bramble because his left shoulder was hurt and he couldn't lift it to block those rights by Bramble, you know what? I buy it because he doesn't make excuses. And we can see how much better he's been. Look at that left hook. Oh, he's hurting Ward to the body.
Yeah, I think that's really been the difference in the fight. And I think Ward right now is a hurting guy. Look where Ward's hands are.
The body work of Brazier having a tremendous impact at this point.
Micky Ward has never been knocked out. 3 losses coming to Edwin Curette, Mike Mungin, and that was a fight that we mentioned. Mungin was 15 pounds heavier, and Frankie Warren, and they were all decision losses.
Ward going to the body. Good right hook by Ward, but look, Brazier comes right back.
Oh, there's another good right hook.
Harold walks right through it.
And I mean, that caught Harold Brazier flush.
I'll tell you what, this round, you don't get much more intensity inside a boxing ring than both these men are showing right now. Micky Ward knows he's got to make something happen. He's trying very hard. And Harold Brazier walking through these punches. with a look in his eye, the likes of which I have to tell you I've not seen in Harold Brazier, as motivated as he is and has been in boxing.
Yeah, he was all business when we spoke with him this morning. And a long look at each other at the end of the round.
And this, as you said, from two guys that do respect each other, so you know it's getting intense.
It's business now. Pretty nice little comeback from Micky Ward in that round.
Toward the end, he did well.
Okay, unfortunately, again, no punching after that bell.
Dick Eklund talking to Micky Ward and his brother.
Come on. What happened to my sponges?
Eventually come to head and work that body inside. Little spin-offs and digs and whack. All right? Be busy and be working hard. Do not let him steal these rounds.
Watch this. Harold Brazier will take a good right hook off the top of the head. Doesn't slow him down. And later he would take another one, in fact. But Harold just kept coming in.
That was as clean a shot as you could hit a man with.
See Brazier cutting the ring off. Look at that. Excellent job there. Look at there he is sliding across. That's what you mean by cutting the ring off. Following the man around, but pinning him against the ropes.
Now, this fight in general is a cut above from what we usually see on Top Rank Boxing. I really don't mean that as a slight, but it's just a step up.
I think because of the matchup and because of the way the skills these guys bring to it. Harold Brazier, what a fine job he's doing of cutting the ring off so he can get that hook in and throw his right hand. And maybe Ward a step slower now because of all that body work, and that's helping Harold in his task. Micky Ward, I think, now needs to land something big to get Harold's attention in a big way so he can't walk right in like this. He can't bang that body.
Downstairs and then upstairs, and even though those shots were caught on the gloves, they still pushed Micky Ward backwards.
And I think one of those right hands got in there pretty well. These are strong punches Harold Brazier's throwing. He is really setting down on it. 34 years old. I know I'm waxing enthusiastic about him, but you have to just really appreciate what Harold Brazier is doing in there right now and what we've seen him do so many times. And he's in there against a quality guy in Micky Ward. And in a fight in which Micky Ward is highly motivated and trained hard for it. Good hook downstairs by Ward. Ward staying in the southpaw stance, and he does not punch powerfully from that stance. And I think power is what he needs right now. There's the overhand right by Ward, a good weapon that he used earlier. Hasn't been able to get it untracked in the recent rounds.
So this fight scheduled for 12 rounds. Harold Brazier in the red trunks, Micky Ward in the black. This is for a title, but what it really is for a chance at a world title.
And we might add that Micky Ward has never been 12 rounds before, while Harold Brazier has on a couple of different occasions.
That time by Micky Ward. And Rudy Battle will talk to both of them. End of the 7th round, up-tempo fight, virtually from the opening bell. Classy guys, classy fight. We'll be back.
A kiss? Oh, not right now.
You really don't want to kiss me?
Dangerous. Very dangerous.
Give me a minute, honey.
Don't let morning breath ruin a good morning. Get Scope. Scope has 2 powerful ingredients to kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Didn't I hear something about a kiss?
Well, things did get a little intense. Rudy Battle trying to break him up, almost took a right hand from Micky Ward.
Good head movement by Rudy Battle.
Excellent. Good work by Rudy avoiding that punch. He slips a punch as well as any referee.
Pete Souza's telling Harold Brazier, keep working that body, don't stop for a minute.
Is he in shape or what? I mean, he's throwing a lot of punches. Micky Ward has only averaged 40 punches around. And here it is. It's actually a little closer than I would have thought it was in terms of total numbers landed. Brazier ahead by about, I think we may have had a little typo there. I think 76 punches is what.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
Yeah, what Micky Ward has landed, not 176.
And you can see Harold Brazier is just not letting Micky Ward get set. He's just not letting him get off with any kind of consistency at all.
What a beautiful combination with that left hook to the body.
Now left to the head.
I tell you, I'm telling you, Harold Brazier has a look in his eye that is different than what I've ever seen from him before, and we've seen him many times here. He is so intent on winning this fight. It just looks in his eye like nothing's going to stop him.
Well, he really is on a mission. Remember when we talked to him about going on and he'd like to get one more, and he was so serious about it. I mean, we've been laughing and joking before that, and as soon as we asked him about that, he said, oh, look, I'm going to get another title. I'm going to keep fighting until I have another title, no matter what weight division it's in.
They'll work on the gloves. Yeah, I mean, he almost took umbrage at the way you said it. He said, I guess you want one more shot. And he looked at you straight in the eye and he said, no, I don't want one more shot. I'm going to fight till I get a world title. Right. And fixing the gloves of Micky Ward. Now, for Micky Ward here, we're talking a lot about Harold Brazier because he's looking great. Micky Ward has got to land a big shot here, something that will keep Brazier off him. And then he has to really go to work because these rounds are slipping away quickly.
Yeah, and you can't really criticize anything that Micky Ward has done here.
The only thing I would criticize is staying as a southpaw so much. I just don't know if that is working for him. The body assault by Harold Brazier has been as good as you would ever want from a boxer.
Harold Brazier spent some time as an auto body mechanic, and I'll tell you, he's putting a few dents in the body of Micky Ward tonight.
Landing excellent combinations. And Ward showing his toughness, absorbing this, but it's not going to get him to the winner's circle.
Cumulatively, I would think it's got to have an effect.
Somewhere along the line, Micky Ward has become less of a puncher, and it's really hurt him. He's not been, in recent fights, I don't think has been setting down his punch as much as we saw him do earlier in his career.
But you have to feel that Harold Brazier is taking the fight away from Micky Ward.
It's Harold imposing his will on him, and that's why I keep talking about that look in his eye and the intensity. He just will not be stopped. He won't deviate from what he knows he's supposed to do. And now the jab even getting in there by Brazier.
So just another workmanlike round by a workmanlike fighter, Harold Brazier, who seems to be building up the points in wholesale numbers now.
Sleep out there, boss.
Pete Susan's talking him in there. Keys to victory. Well, I don't know that Harold's jab has worked all the way through, but boy, has he ever cut the ring off. Ward has had a lot of movement, but even that hasn't been effective in getting in and out. He hasn't been able to land his combinations and then get out. When he's been on the inside, he's stayed there with Brazier, and we heard Dick Eklund criticizing him for that or urging him not to do that earlier. Now here's where Micky Ward did land a few punches, and then there he's gone. That was and lands the jab. That was the battle plan. It just hasn't happened as much. And there, Brazier shows you on his side, getting in with body shots. Harold with the jab, then works that body. So Harold, when he gets him against the ropes, obviously very effective. Only 31 punches thrown by Ward in the last round. He is just not going to take this fight doing that. Not when Harold's throwing 2 or 3 times as much.
This round starting out very much the same. There's a left hand by Ward, though. Did catch Harold Brazier.
Look at Harold cutting the ring off and whacking the body of Ward. This is a textbook performance by Harold Brazier. There we go. Now we got that little glitch fixed. Those numbers reflecting what's going on, and boy, it's not good for Micky Ward right now.
3 times as many punches landed by Harold Brazier, and it goes the same way in this round. And the body work, which leads to the punches to the head.
And now Ward laying on those ropes, not a place he can be and be effective.
Clinic stuff here by Harold Brazier.
And now Brazier's jab getting through, and there's a little uppercut on the inside. And look at Brazier mixing the jab to the body and the head. You know when Harold Brazier has lost in his career, other than the Bramble fight, when he lost to Koji and Mayweather and the Melvin, when he didn't punch enough. I mean, over the years when he has remained his defensive shell too much and just not been aggressive like he is tonight.
Your card indicative of the way I think most observers would have to feel this fight is gone, and that is dominantly in the corner of Harold Brazier.
He is just steamrolling Micky Ward right now.
And even the crowd, which was vociferously in the corner of Micky Ward, has now gone very quiet.
You know, Lowell, Massachusetts, a lot closer here than South Bend, Indiana is. But you know they're watching back there. Harold's a favorite in that part of the country. His manager, Pete Susan, calls him the Babe Ruth of Midwest boxing. Harold goes all over by car. You know, he's been to 42 cities, 16 states, and 5 countries. Harold has, taking his show on the road.
In the Barnstormer. And he just seems to have Micky Ward to the point where Micky Ward just really doesn't know what to do with him here.
And it's frustrating because Harold's defense is so good, even when you punch, you're not going to get through that often. That's why it was so shocking to see Bramble knock him out like that. Good exchanges in this round. And by and large, Brazier getting the best of it, as he has. Micky Ward, though, and give him credit, he is doing what he can to try and get through that Brazier defense, just not always working.
Coming to the end of the 9th round, and the 9th round very similar to the 8th and the 7th and the 6th and the...
Success, a favorable venture. Specifically, the attainment of wealth, favor, or eminence. If this is your definition of success, then you can find it at the AM Eagle Business Opportunity Show. The public is invited. Whether you're interested in franchises, home businesses, distributorships, or investments of...
Harold Brazier blocking shots by Micky Ward, nothing getting through, and then rips the little uppercut on the inside and another one. And nothing landing by Micky Ward. That tells you as much as anything what this fight has been about.
This is the 10th round. Going 12.
Get the tape ready in this corner.
Barry Tompkins with Al Bernstein. This is for the IBF Intercontinental Junior Welterweight Championship, but as we said, what it really is for is another shot for the winner. And Harold Brazier appears for all the world to be that. Good right hand there, though, bouncing off the ropes by Micky Ward.
And a good right uppercut. So while we're being enthusiastic about the job Harold Brazier is doing, Micky Ward certainly landing some shots here and trying to land the big one.
He got there with a good right hand, too, and continues to punish Harold Brazier, and that brings the crowd alive again.
Here's where Brazier, though, because of that great defense and his ability to cover up, if he gets just a little stunned, he'll go into that shell for a while and then come back like this. Those are solid body shots. Harold Brazier once said to me, I had him on one of my live shows at Caesars, and he said to me, he said, I don't get hit unless I want to get hit. And that's from a man that is not a braggart. That's from a man that doesn't go about the business of telling you how great he is. And that's pretty much true.
I think that would account for the fact that he's had almost 70 fights and he can still tell you about it.
Exactly. But Harold's going to be out in Las Vegas this Saturday when I do my sports show at the Dunes. I hope all the people in the Las Vegas area will join us there.
So Micky Ward take a step back, take a bit of a blow here.
Big right by Harold. And the right hand downstairs again. He never forgets the body.
Good combinations again. So Micky Ward had his moments in this round, but again, Harold Brazier just taking it away from him at the end. Good right hand, and it came behind a left hand. Take a moment to congratulate one of our own family who added to his own family, Al Friedman, our cameraman who works the corners for us here.
Does a great job.
Just about every time we are back east. The daughter, Erica.
Nice. Well, congratulations.
Right hand off the jab. It's fast. Just make it like one punch, all right?
Major League Baseball continuing on ESPN here. A double dip coming up tomorrow. It'll be the A's and the Red Sox and the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Francisco Giants.
Micky Ward did have his moments in the last round, especially early in the round with that right hand to the head of Harold Brazier. But it was a round that Harold turned completely in his favor. It looked like Micky might get one. Average punches per round, that man has thrown 79, while Micky Ward has thrown 40. And I guarantee you Harold's landing at a better clip.
It's the 11th round. And I think it's a safe bet to think that Micky Ward will need to knock Harold Brazier out, and that is a tall order.
And especially when you consider that Micky landed some very good shots in the last round that didn't faze Brazier. Look at those combinations. That's good boxing. That is good boxing. He finishes every combination up. And there was the left hook he's been talking about, the short, snapping left hook.
And it started with a right to the body. This has really been an excellent performance by Harold Brazier. And he's fighting a quality opponent. That's the other thing to consider here. Last time we saw him in Indianapolis, he fought Lalo Velasquez, who was a very inexperienced opponent. The results were, I think, inevitable, but not so tonight.
There are very few junior welterweights that Harold Brazier doesn't have a shot against. In fact, probably none. He doesn't always win and might not always win, but I'll tell you what, he is right in there. He has got a shot against almost anybody. And this is going to sound kind of nutty to some people, but I'd love to see him in against Julio Cesar Chavez.
An interesting fight now.
Because of the way he defends. I'm not saying he'd beat Julio Cesar Chavez, but I'm just saying that it's intriguing because of the styles, the way those styles match up. The guys that give him trouble are more than Meldrick Taylors who can box. Oh, good, strong jab by Brazier. Look at him rip on the inside. These are textbook punches, folks. You don't see short, compact punches like that from that many people.
And still plenty left in those punches, too.
This guy's 34 years old. This is round, what, 10?
11.
11, excuse me. Round 11. And he's ripping shots. He's throwing a lot. He's walking through punches. He's busy. Boxing's a tough sport. When you're 34 and you can do that against a man 10 years younger than you, you got something going.
Well, this guy's really taking care of himself. And as you said, one of the keys, he hadn't been hit. He's had a lot of fights. He's been in his business for a long time. A little bit of a cut now. Along the bridge of the nose by the right eye of Micky Ward.
Very tough dilemma right now for Micky Ward. It really is. He ripped that left to the body, and that's the kind of power punch he's going to need to the head.
And Micky Ward has 3 minutes and 5 seconds to get the job done. And I don't really believe there's going to be any great secrets from Dick Eklund in his corner. In fact, a couple of rounds ago, Dick Eklund said he got to knock him out. And now I think that's just abundantly clear. That cut is alongside the nose, and it does appear a little bit.
Oh, put that water over. We'll wash the stuff right out.
Okay, last round we touch nose in the center.
Deep breath.
So let's put a little tape around here. Okay. Tear this off.
Give me the tape.
Brazier's corner, it's like afternoon tea. This guy's not even breathing heavy.
You got some.
And you know, he and Pete Susans work so well together in that corner.
nice drill. I know you're zapped up now.
Right hand to the body, the upper. Look at, he's finishing off all beautiful, finishing those off. Some are blocked, but look at the double left hook that he had in there. Good short punches, and he rips that left hook. An example of the better left hook that he has now, Harold Brazier.
Twelfth and final round. And a tough task for Micky Ward, because he's going to have to go after him. And not easy to do. Punches in the last round. Look at this. 102 punches thrown in the 11th round by a 34-year-old man, and he lands 40% of them.
I don't care. I'll tell you what. I may be rhapsodizing over Harold Brazier, but I think this is a special performance. I know it's not. Micky Ward's not a world champion, but he's a good fighter. And for Harold to be doing this a year after a very serious shoulder injury, a loss to Bramble, this man willed his way back, worked very, very hard, and look, he is all the way back.
And he's right there now. He's ready for another title shot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe one more fight, and I think somebody should give him a shot at the junior welterweight championship.
And he was saying, you know, if I can't get one at junior welterweight, I'll go to welterweight.
It should be tougher for him. I don't know that he could punch with the welterweights. Micky Ward against those ropes, bad place for him to be. He is going to be sore tomorrow because he's taking such a beating to the body. And look, you can see he puts his gloves down and just tries to get a breather. And I'll tell you, you don't find a guy tougher than Micky Ward. And he has shown his toughness by taking what Harold Brazier has dished out here.
And he's taken a lot, no question about it.
Unrelenting performance by Brazier. Those punches blocked by Ward.
Performance by Harold Brazier. The decision is not in any doubt at all.
There's nothing that he has done in that ring tonight that you would want to criticize, really. I mean, he has been as letter perfect as he could be. The only thing he would have wanted was for Ward to be knocked out, and the lesser man might have been.
Oh, I think almost anybody else would have been. Micky Ward has not been knocked out in his career, and it's a credit to him just to have taken what he did and still be there at the end of 12 rounds tonight.
Especially considering that Brazier has mixed that body to the attack to the body and the head. Here's actually where Ward is in danger of getting knocked down because he's being so wild at the end of a fight where he's tired and taking big shots.
And Brazier finishing with a flourish. It's extremely possible that Harold Brazier could have won every round.
Yeah, I would say just about. Big hook by Brazier. A virtuoso performance by the man from South Bend.
Against a quality opponent. Excellent, excellent performance.
You don't box better over 12 rounds than Harold Brazier did. There's Harold. Frustration by Micky Ward, understandable. He was in there against the guy who gave everything he could possibly give.
Yeah, he really did. He just ran into the wrong guy tonight.
I'll tell you, the Lowell, Massachusetts crowd will go home disappointed, but the problem was that man ran up against a buzzsaw. There are the numbers that clearly demonstrate just how much Brazier dominated this match.
Well, it'll be a tough loss for Micky Ward, but hard to imagine anybody in this weight division who could have done any better tonight against Brazier.
I can't think of too many except guys like Julio Cesar Chavez and the Meldrick Taylors of the world. Beyond them, I don't know. And I think if Harold had fought this way in his title matches with this aggression, let's put it that way, he'd be a world champion.
But like you said, he really has that look of a man on a mission. And his mission is a championship. Let's make it official. Here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, all three judges scored about the same. Joseph Pasquale, Lynn Carter, and William Kostrup scored the bout 118 to 110 for the winner by unanimous decision and still IBF Intercontinental Junior Welterweight Champion Harold Brazier.
On a 118 to 110 win for Harold Brazier over 12 rounds. All three judges having it the same way, so Brazier is the lopsided winner, as we expected he might be. Tremendous performance. We'll be back to talk with Harold Brazier after this. But we'll assume it's Dad right now. Here's Al Bernstein.
All right, here with his son Ivan. I'll tell you what, this performance had to be as close to perfect as you would want, but I know you'll probably find something wrong with it.
First of all, I'd like to give my glory to Jesus Christ, my Savior. And if it had been a perfect fight, I would have scored a first-round knockout without getting hit.
Oh, you're such a critic.
But, my left arm is almost 100%. It's still not as quick as I want it to be, but still it's getting up where I can fight on the world-class level again, and soon a world title.
All right, you want a world title soon?
I want a world title soon, or whenever. I'm just going to be content when it comes.
Okay, let's go to Pete Susans, your manager. Quickly, Pete, is there a shot at Harold getting a world title shot soon?
Well, I don't see how they can ignore him. He's the busiest guy out there and will be again, and he'll fight anybody anytime they want to scrap. So.
And he'll keep busy until then, I assume.
Absolutely. Anybody who wants to fight, all they got to do is call up.
All right, that's your sentiment, I'm sure.
Yes, I want to get at least 150 professional fights, and I'm past the halfway mark, so we're on our way.
You're amazing, Harold. Congratulations. Harold Brazier wants 150 professional fights. He says this wasn't a perfect performance. What is, Barry? Let's go to Barry at ringside.
I don't know. He's going to be the first fighter to ever get Medicare. I'll tell you that. 150 fights. He wants to go on. A great win for him tonight. And as Al Bernstein mentioned, hard to imagine that anybody could be more decisive in a victory. And as Pete Susan said, they know the phone number. How can they deny him a championship shot? And I don't think there was anybody who was in the room here tonight who would argue that fact. For us, a wrap from Atlantic City. So for my partner, Al Bernstein, I'm Barry Tompkins. We'll see you next Thursday night.